Hello, everybody, and welcome back again. It is a very chilly day. I think we are at like 18 degrees right now, and snow. It's been snowing since last night. So we were supposed to get almost like 15, 16, even 17 inches of snow. But so far, from what I saw outside, it's about this much. So maybe like 5, 6 inches, which is not too bad. Right now, it's just a dusting of some kind of icy, sleet like crap. I hate it. I really do hate it. Um, let's see what the weather is saying here. I did have an indication here, but now it went away. So maybe things are not that serious anymore. It was supposed to, like I said, accumulate a lot of snow. Obviously, things are going to be shut down today, you know, and possibly schools tomorrow. I think our county is already shutting down the schools. It was going to be a student at home day anyway for this quarterly grading. The teachers would have had to go in, but I think they get to stay home this time. So I think they're just as happy as the students are. Now, private schools, who knows? I don't think Nathan is going to be going to school tomorrow. And I don't think I'm going to even leave the house. So even if he does go to school, his parents are going to have to pick him up because they live like 2 miles away. I just do this because I love the boy and I pick him up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then I hang out with him, help him with homework and such. And then I say goodbye and I come back home. We live about 9.5 miles away from them. So, anyway, welcome. We have some people this morning. I checked and people were waiting gallantly. Wait a minute. I see one here from the Netherlands, and the time says 3:28 a.m. and that's my time. Okay. Wow. So HZ from the Netherlands this week, I tested Print Prism, EcoTank 8550, and Epson Premium Semi Gloss. The print was a 4x5 film scan, full of detail and subtle color. The difference between print profile and the OEM profile in accuracy and color separation is truly significant. I'm impressed and happy. Are you saying it was better? This is what I need to hear. I need to hear that it was actually better because Mike Lee, previous owner, creator of Precision Colors, asked me, "Hey, have you heard of Print Prism?" And I sort of chuckled because I received like the first release of it before it was even available for people. Mike Cheney has sent it to me. Let me tilt the light toward me a little bit better. There we go. Mike Cheney sent me the original, and I immediately tried it. Of course, I didn't know what I was doing. So I had to read up, which is something I don't do often. That's what she tells me. You need to read. And I go, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm trying to use my virtual intelligence to figure out how to do things. And of course, I fall flat on my face every single time. Anyway, so I told him about it. I told him I had already used it, and he's quite impressed. I thought he was going to be a little bit, no, he was fully blown away, and he's going to order it. And Mike Cheney was very, very generous and sent him a password for a full life version of precision. I'm sorry, of I'm thinking of precision color of Q Image Ultimate, and so he's very happy with that. He had a very old one from like 2018 or something like that. So I'm sure he will enjoy, and he'll have to relearn a lot of things about how to navigate through Q Image. But then I told him you need to buy Print Prism, okay, and give it a try, because what's happening, and I'm sorry I'm taking so long with this, but this could have been a discussion later on, but I'm just going to talk about it now. Things like this, well, I can't bring it all the way over here, but this is my spectrophotometer. Um, they use an incandescent light bulb. It's not an LED. Maybe newer versions of these types of tools have LED lights, but of course the bulb can go bad, and it also begins to fade, drift a little bit in time. So Mike has created tens of thousands of profiles that he has tested and then chosen the best ones for download on his original site. A lot of those are still available. We'll talk about maybe uh, why he's thinking about getting Print Prism, although he's not in business anymore. But I think the new owner, Matt, should get Print Prism. We'll discuss why. But anyway, so he's going to get it. He told me that some of those older uh, profiles that he made years and years ago, of course, were made with the unit when it had a good bulb. Okay, so remember, you have to calibrate that unit by projecting a beam onto a little bit of it's a little ceramic disc. You open this, and there it is, that little ceramic disc. So it shines the light against that, and it bounces back, and then the spectral says, hey, I'm supposed to see this version of white, but I'm seeing a slightly yellowish one. Compensate. And then it calibrates itself, and then the software allows you to continue to create a profile using the proper software for that unit. Well, we're talking about $1,500, and a software that's a little bit difficult to grasp. But anyway, that's how we did it. And if you wanted to create a profile with lots of color patches, you have to end up using like 3 sheets of paper or a larger sheet. Expensive, especially when you're dealing with really super duper fine art papers. They're not cheap. They're not like, Pro Luster semi gloss or gloss 2 from Canon. It's like 50 cents a sheet. No, you're talking about dollars per sheet, and you can't make mistakes because that's just wasted money. So Print Prism, of course, utilizes just one sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11, or what is it, A4? I forget. Um, so yeah, that's why I'm going to tell Matt that he needs to get Print Prism and redo some of these more relevant profiles, especially for the current set of inks that he's selling. Formulations drift a little bit. The chemistry, the creation of these inks is not absolute. It will change per batch, and big ink companies produce it by the barrels. Okay, by the barrels. So when that runs out, that lot gets distributed throughout the world. They create a new lot, and of course they're measuring ingredients, and the original components, the dyes, everything can drift. It can actually change. That's why, guess why? The Pro 1000 and higher printers have an internal component that allows you to calibrate the printer. And you should do that every 3, 4, 5, 6 months, depending how often you print or how often you go through supplies, in other words. So, yeah, I think he's going to have to get that and get to work. Maybe he can hire somebody to do that job and create all of the necessary um, profiles for a specific ink, for specific printer, for a myriad of different papers. Yeah, because you have to prove to the customers that your inks and your profiles produce results that match or better than the printer with a Canon paper or printer with an Epson paper can produce using the available OEM profiles. It's really interesting. And so, yeah, I hope he. I'm going to have to call him and talk to him about that. Maybe we'll do it one on one, and I will record it because that would be a really good um, bit of a video that I can then upload for people on my Patreon. That I would get a kick out of that, and then a week later, I make it available for everyone. Okie doke. Nigel Waters, Wales, UK, Pro 300 with all the trimmings. So I see a lot of people bought the Pro 300 and yet it couldn't be reset. The cartridges are, of course, just like the Pro 200, the Pro 10, I'm sorry. Cartridges, they're opaque. So at least you don't have to actually see the internal bag of ink filling up. You just dribble ink, and then when the port becomes a little bit wet or it reaches a certain weight, which I believe is like 32 grams. It could be a little bit less, it could be a little bit more. It's full, so you don't have to guess. You don't have to have a transparent cartridge. But the Pro 200, you have opaque cartridges. So maybe that's why there's not too many Pro 200 owners in Precision Colors. And of course, Rick Johnson, who sells the modified cartridges that you can see through them, and then you disable the chip. It's the easiest way to convert to, say, Precision Colors ink or Ink Owl or any other good third party ink for that printer. Maybe that's what's causing you to hesitate buying a Pro 200. Well, I have the solution, and so does Rick Johnson. Okay, you buy those cartridges. I have them. Where'd I put them? I always lose stuff. Right here. And they look like this. This is one. This happens to be cyan. And it indicates right here that the chip is at X. That means a red X. That means it was declared empty, but there's still ink in the sponge. You are to then refill this in that same condition, refill it. It's already made for refilling. Refill this and install it and continue printing. And you wait for a series of errors to pop up on the screen. This is the full set right here. Beautifully done. I mean, this guy is ridiculous. I'm glad he's here with us because I am not going to do this. There's no way. But he only has a limited number of sets. So, if you are a 200 owner and you're on the borderline, you think you want to do this, but you're scared, do it. Do it and buy 2 sets, not just one, 2 sets. It's a good investment, I guarantee you. And then from Rudy Hallamum, buy the little holders. That will keep everything in perfect order. That way, your refilling procedure is going to be very well. How should I say it? You're not going to make mistakes, okay? Because yellow will be in the yellow slot, magenta will be in the magenta slot on that holder. You have your row of bottles, yellow. How can you mistake yellow for magenta, right? So yellow, you take it out, hold it, take the yellow bottle right here, yellow, and you use that ink to refill. The only thing you got to be careful about is the photo magenta, photo cyan. But other than that, what you do is you prep all 16 of them in this case, two sets, and they'll be all filled, ready to be installed on your Pro 200. If they are at different conditions, chip wise, then you just continue printing and you wait for these errors to pop up. You heard me read the massive set of instructions that comes with it, and that walks you through the process. And eventually, all of them are clear. There's like no indication of ink on the printer. My current Pro 200 is in that condition, the one that Rick Johnson sent me. All of the color indicators are blank, but the chips are all disabled. That's why. And so now my job is to make sure I refill those cartridges as I am supposed to. So that's it. That's it. Do it. If you have a Pro 200 and you are worried about what is it, $24 a cartridge? Come on. Yeah. And the Precision Colors ink set will give you results, especially with a good profile. Results that were are going not were are going to be as good, if not a little bit better. Okay. Of course, well, you need to make a profile. And we're going to be making some of those today. So let me continue on. I'm talking too much here. Let me continue on with our guests. Fred Elias, Warren, Michigan, 8550, Nikon D300, the one I have also, Red River Papers Hall OEM. Really like the Print Prism demo. Stay warm, Jose. We need you. All right. I will attempt to do that. Well, maybe this afternoon I'll go out and do a little bit of shoveling. My kitty cat that lives outside, I don't know where she's gone today. She's hiding somewhere. I know. She'll be back. It was like 11 this morning. It doesn't get that cold here. That's a little bit too cold for us. I think Janine's niece called yesterday from Wisconsin, and it was below zero. I don't know. Uh, Kevin says, "Oh, here. I'm going to jump over Judy. Sorry, I'll be back." Kevin says, Ellsworth, Wisconsin, 19 below, 300 Canon Pro, EcoTank 8550, XP 15,000. Good Lord. Judy Ann is here. She's out in Washington State, all the way west. And it's morning over there, of course. And she's got a Canon Pro 200. Okay. So maybe you should consider this. I mean, if you're not doing professional selling prints or whatever, and you need to give your customers, OEM ink, which is what you should be doing, you can make this absolutely affordable. Let me just show you real quick. So here is a very dirty. I'm not going to attempt to do what I did last week and get ink. I still have a little bit of ink on my fingers here. It doesn't come off easily, which is good. That means it doesn't fade as easy. So what happens, especially now that we have clear cartridges, the only difference is the chip. He swapped the chips over from the 200 yellow to a old CLI 8 yellow or CLI 42 yellow. Now I fill this up, okay, and I print, and I keep my eye on it. I can no longer rely on an indicator. It's not going to tell me, hey, low, or you're almost low. If I had that, then I would take it out and top it off. The reason you want to top it off before you run out of ink here is because there's nothing but air left, and air infiltrates the sponge. You see that? You see why you can see the top and bottom layers? And look at the bottom layer. It's full of little cavities of air. You don't want that. You want that to stay completely filled, no air. Okay? That's what you're looking for when you are refilling these cartridges. So what you do is every couple of weeks, depending how often you print, just take out the cartridges and put them back. If they are like up here, like up here, put them back. It's okay. You close the lid, yeah, it will run a little purge cycle. Fine. So after a few of these tests, these checkups, you will know how often does a certain color reach almost low. You want to catch it before that. How much ink do you think I need to fill this chamber? This is the biggest thing. Okay, this holds more ink than this. How often or how much ink do you think I need to fill that up? Up to almost touching the plug. You don't want to go above that. Maybe 4 to 5 ml. Third party precision color signature edition ink for this is something like, I am going to be very generous, like 20 cents per ml. So 20 times 4 or 5, that would be a very generous, I think it's less than that, 80 to 100 cents. So a dollar to refill this, and times 8. It would be $23 times 8. You see what I mean? And your results are going to be ridiculously good. Again, with a good profile, even with the OEM profile, actually. But you always squeeze that last bit of quality using an OEM profile, because the trick is that when you create a profile for your individual printer, your individual batch of ink, your individual batch of paper, everything drifts. Quality control exists, but they have a margin of error. Okay. So it can drift this way or that. If it goes too far to the right, they get rid of that batch. If it goes too far to the left, they do that. But if it's within that margin of error, they sell it to you. So if you can create a profile, it will take into account any margin of error and will basically calibrate your printer. Okay, imagine that. That's what you're doing with an ICC profile. For that ink, paper, printer combination, you are calibrating that. If you only print one paper, or life is easy for you. You make that profile. If you maybe a year later, you might think, oh, I'm getting a different batch of ink or a different batch of paper, redo it. You will spend one sheet of paper doing that. You can't lose. It's a win-win. Now, if I told you buy a spectrophotometer, you would have to spend $1,500 for that baby. And there's a version 3 now, or maybe even higher. I don't even know. I haven't looked. That's going to sit there and collect dust. I don't want to sell it, but it's going to sit there. It's still good. I haven't made that many profiles with it. So that bulb is still fine. So anyway, Kevin is freezing over there in Wisconsin. It's 19 here, 18 right now. 18 here, but it's above zero. So that's like almost 40-degree difference. Wow. Crazy. Steve XL, London, UK, Epson P800 refillable cartridges and OEM ink. Welcome, my friend. And this is, I saw this earlier before I went on the air. Suddenly in Europe, there are, besides the classic Epson Ecotech 50, 8550, 8 more versions are available. What versions are available? That just caught me. What are you talking about? Please explain that. I would love to hear more details on that. Here it is, Captain Dauncey. How much snow did you get down there in Richmond? Pro 100 with all the trimmings. Hello from sunny and warm Hagerstown. No way. Wait, my bubble had just burst. There's snow everywhere except my driveway is heated. What? Wow. He's got a heated driveway. That's awesome. He is a technician. What can I say? Photo Nikon 780 says he is from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Canon Pro 1000, Epson EcoTank 8550, XP 15000, OEM inks, papers, and Red River Qimage Ultimate Print Prism photos for Lightroom. He's set. You are set up. HZ says Martin Van Gogh. Yeah, 1912. Where did you find out about that? When did I say anything about 1912? Are you asking me that? Don't know. Please clarify that. Let me go back to your original post. 2012. Maybe I was talking about something. Leah Lee, Canon Pro 1100, Canon Z9, Nikon D700 from Israel, and good evening again from Israel. And I say Israel, pronounce it properly. Tim Miller, 9114. Yes, my i1 Pro 3 does have an LED. Good. And the i1 Pro 2 does not. Yeah, Mike Lee tried to change the bulb and he was not successful. So unfortunately, he's stuck with that now and he's not able to use it, but he's got Print Prism now. So he can buy that and set up his 8550. And that's the end of that. Emmanuel from Rouen, Normandy, France, EcoTank 8550, Q Image 1, Color Monkey, digital and silver film photo. All right. Yeah, I know what you meant. Silver. Yes. You kept typing. You're like me. I can't type at all. No problem, my friend. Bonjour. If I go abroad for a few months, but keep the Canon Pro 1100 without printing, or rather, I keep the system on use, I know it will cost me a huge amount of ink when I return. Yeah, that's the problem. Um, you can. I assume you're using OEM. You're not refilling. If you're refilling, then the cost is not the cost. You will still use up ink and maybe fill up one of those MC20 wasting cartridges. So I just took one upstairs to get rid of it and it weighed a ton. Of course, I had reset the chip and let it run twice. Very naughty of me, but it did it fine and nothing overflowed. So I got away with it. So yeah, it's gonna run a cleaning cycle when you come back. You can leave it on. Some people say leave it off, but leave it off will maybe trigger the most massive type of cleaning cycle. How long are you thinking about being out of the country approximately? If it's a couple of weeks, don't worry about it. If it's months, then yeah, you might want to actually turn it off. Don't unplug it, just turn it off. Yes, so this is going to be for you. Okay. You want to do this? You got to do it correctly. So I will be doing the ones that are in my Pro 200 are all disabled. What I am going to do is once I get inks from Precision Colors, I'm going to top those off. I will do it on camera in my back room. Um, and then I will go ahead and proceed to refill the ones that were in that bag I showed you with PC inks, install them in the printer, and then go through the process. It'll take maybe a couple of weeks to do this, to get each chip to give me that error that I need so that I can finally disable it. Okay, it's a series of steps. And once you do that, again, if you have a lot of cartridges left, keep them. They're valuable. I don't know if you want to go through the process on your own. No, I don't want to go through that process on my own. I'll just get them from Rick, okay, and get the holders from um, my friend Rudy Hallamum. Now, to reach that, you need to have my app, and I will post that because I do this every time, and I don't know whether you guys have been able to save it. So what I would recommend is you get this and bookmark it. You cannot just clip on the app. the link. You have to copy and paste it on your browser and then bookmark it right here. And that will take you to this page. Right there. And here are all the links. Every one of these links here will directly take you to all of the companies and the people that I support and people that support me as well. So make sure you copy that, paste it on your browser, and that will take you to Rudy Hallamum. That will take you to Rick Johnson. That will take you to my Amazon affiliate page. You should order everything you order from Amazon. Use it. Use my page. Okay. You can actually go there and then search for whatever you want. You don't have to be buying any kind of for instance, any of the things that I list, for example. So let's just go there. Here's this beautiful girl. Don't worry about her. Just click on it and look at this. These are all the things that I recommend. If you're a drone flyer, if you are a 3D printer, if you are a printer of photographs, if you are whatever, I have it all here. Cameras, printers. And again, I'm going to go through this and remove some of these things that are a little bit out of date. But say, for instance, you just don't want any of this. Well, go back to the top and search. Okay. And that will, if you do that through that link, anything you buy from Amazon, I will get a small cut. And it helps. Every 2 or 3 months, I'll get a check for a few dollars, and that gets put in the channel's pot, if you will. And I go ahead and I order supplies with that money. But yeah, so the same thing with Rudy Hallamum. It's right there. The same thing with Q Image. And soon it'll be, I think they're going to provide me with a affiliate link for the Print Prism. I think he wants to establish sort of what the um, market is at this point. I think it's going well, and I hope to help him reach out to more people. I think he has more reach than I have, but that will help the maybe get the app made for Apple or for Mac, because right now it's only available for Windows. If we can get that made for Apple, that'll reach a huge other market as well. And I think people would be very happy. It's just incredible. So Mike was telling me that in the application, the Print Prism application, when you go to see the list of scanners that are supported, I think is the 8550, obviously, the Canon G620, which is a tank type printer. And then there's another one and one standalone that sells for like $70. And $70 plus $35, that's 105. You can create profiles that are absolutely top quality. Isn't that something? I'm waiting. I am waiting patiently for X-Rite and the other company that makes a spider print to say something. I'm wondering when that's going to happen. And I didn't discuss that with Mike, but yeah, I'm wondering to see when is that going to come out. When is the criticism and the bad, talk going to come out and just try to disprove that this method is ridiculous and you should stick with a spectrum photometer? Yeah. Anyway, the thing about it is that what here's the thing. What makes companies that sell papers and create custom profiles, they contract that out. They don't do that job themselves. I don't know. Maybe. I would expect they just contract that out. They create the charts, obviously, but they are scanned by someone else. And they cannot legally use the i1 Pro software. That's got a copyrighted, um, you know, you produce a profile with that. That profile is copyrighted. You cannot sell it. You cannot make it downloadable for anybody. Only I can use it. Only you, the owner of that instrument, can use it. So they have to use an open source type tool, which is ridiculously difficult to use to create these profiles. And because it's open source, then those profiles become legally available either to sell or to give away free. So yeah, Print Prism doesn't have any of that. You can sell Mike Cheney's Print Prism profiles. He's not blocking you from that. So yeah, okie doke. Did we get everyone? I think so. We got 34 people. Wow, that's good. Who just got snow? That storm was tracking through like Alabama, and then it went up above Florida. It went up through Georgia and South and North Carolina, and then us. Um, Anybody from that area of the country got any snow? Can you report what kind of snow you got? Because right now, after tonight, I think it's like around midnight, it's going to be gone, and it's going to head up to New England and bombard them with lots of snow. I think we're lucky. We only got about 6 inches. It was supposed to originally be 17, and I was terrified. I was like, "Oh my god!" Yeah. Let me know. Share with me if you guys got any kind of snow this last day, last night, and this morning. It should have been like yesterday on the south end, and then us later on, which is right now. There's a tiny. It looks like somebody's sprinkling flour, just very lightly. So I'm happy for that. Anyway, all right. So you saw me last week. I made some 3x3 metal prints from some of the AI generated images that I did on Photoshop. Um, Let me show you what that looks like. Isn't that pretty? And here's the back. So this is the edges are blackened, by the way. So this is going to have a little strip of this, and I created this. It's just like an L-shaped piece of wood, very small. So say like half an inch, and it will be installed like so. Okay, that will create that little hook. Now, this is going to then hang. So make believe this is a wall. On the wall, you will have the opposite, and this will then, in this orientation, attach to that, like so. And as you can see, it slides. So this little half-inch piece will be in the back of the print. Also on the bottom two corners will be a little block again to bring it out away from the wall, just like I do with my normal uh, full-size photos. So that will allow me to then hang, and there is a tiny amount of clearance between the surface of this and the surface of this. So I will provide that to the customers who buy these from me on that show that I will be doing next October. So this is like miniature wallpaper that you buy. And this is going to be a room. You can have curtains. You can have, oh, they look amazing, by the way. And so this will actually be a lot smaller. I made a big one just for demonstration purposes, and I will take that with me. So again, this is glued to the back of the photograph, and then it's just going to hang there like so. You see that? And I have a couple of them that I made. One of them is, of course, metal. This is the other one that I created. Actually, no, this is Richard Bender's. Richard, I am going to sell your art, and then I'll take the money and take you out to lunch. Okay, there you go. So the same thing in the back, same treatment, and I will have one of those little L-shaped mountain brackets, and then in the corner, two little square ones. I have a precision miniature saw that can do magic. Okay, uh, so I can do all of this. You've seen my furniture, so you know what I'm talking about. So this one I'm going to sell. This one I'm going to sell, and I have other ones as well. So another thing that I have is the ones that I made on the linen paper. Now, if it's something sort of modern, then, for example, if I make a metal print that's modern, this is what it's going to look like. So that is a metal print. That is an AI generated image. And here's the back. I'm not done with the other ones, by the way. So it has my initials and the year that I created it. Okay. And then simulated little metal brackets that hold that mounting. It's like a stretcher, but this is not really a stretcher because it's metal. So, and normally they would be made out of metal. I was looking at how to do this with metal, maybe 16th of an inch square rod, and nah, I'm not going to do that. Too much work. So I'm just going to leave it in wood form. This will hang again if I add one of those little pieces there. Um, I have little miniature easels that I'm going to be displaying some of these examples at my table. I think people are going to love it. I hope so. All I need to do is generate the cost of the table for the day. I just want to have the experience of getting back into this craft, at least commercially. Now, as a linen print, so here's a linen print. This one's going to get framed. This one's going to get framed with a mahogany frame. Okay. I'm going to have the same thing in the back. Oh, my light just died. I need to charge that baby. Anyway, so this is going to have a frame, not a modern frame like this one. So any metal prints that I frame will be black, very modern, very sleek, black type frames. And then of course, the other ones. These are going to get framed with black as well, or not. It depends. I'll make some with, and I'll make some without, and that gives the customer a bit of a variety. Okay. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get to making some. No, I'm going to show you something that a lot of people seem to have problems with. Let me delete this. Okay. Okay. Consistency between printers. Now, you could argue that, well, printers cannot all be identical. What would be the point, right? If every single printer from a $75 cheap from Walmart printer, like one of those all-in-one Epsons, they used to have them for less than $100 with expensive inks. Uh, if a printer such as that can produce a standard image that matches that of a Pro 1000, then what's the point of buying a Pro 1000? For instance, let's just say you're only going to make letter size prints. What would be the point, right? If they were all matching. Well, unfortunately, if you're really, I'm not going to say if you're really good, let's just use the word lucky, and you get everything lined up correctly. I'm so sad that died, because I would have needed that light. Um, and you use a standard image as your calibrating tool. By calibrating, I mean where you're going to show how good the output of that printer is. That means you print it on a paper made for that printer, and you're using a profile for that paper made for that printer and that ink. So everything is optimal. Okay. So should they all be identical? Again, like I said, what would be the point, right? But you can get close. And now, of course, where did I put all of that? I think right here. Darn it, my stupid light is dead. I'm just going to quickly fan these. And just look at the color areas. So here, the strawberries. Let me move this that way. There you go. And you know, it looks everything. Nothing is a different color balance. Let's just say. Although the let's do the gray ramps. Look at all the gray ramps. There's some tiny slight differences. Okay. The top one is the XP5 15,000. The second one is the Pro 1000, then the Pro 1, then the 8550. Let's do the strawberries. I got to do it this way so I can see what I'm doing here. We'll just show you the strawberries. Now, reds are difficult for printers to reproduce. That's why some printers have proprietary red ink. And again, you need a really good profile to be able to reproduce a red. But look at the strawberries. All right. These were all done with custom profiles. Okay. And again, 8550, Pro 1, Pro 1000, and XP 15,000. So you'd have to really, really examine these and see whether the Pro 1 or the Pro 1000 is better than the XP 15,000. XP 15,000 is the one for like $350 back in the day when I got it. I got that from Mike Lee, by the way. It's really tricky. So, you know, and I can just throw these on a table without showing you which is which. You tell me. You tell me why you should spend 3 times the amount of money Pro 1000 versus the XP 15,000 or the 8550. Okay. You see what I mean? So it gets really tricky, and people have a hell of a time choosing what printer to buy. And I understand. I understand perfectly. Again, here we have, and this is all on matte paper. So matte paper and printers like the XP 15,000, the 8550, which use dye inks predominantly. That's like the most difficult thing to do to get a good result, a good black, a good deep, you know, rich set of shadows on matte paper. I think this is Mr. Davies' photo here. Look at this one. This is on, oh, talk about matching. This is on matte, and this is on glossy. If I didn't give you the reflections, you probably have a hard time telling which is which. But as you can see, the bottom one is glossy. But look at the color rendition is pretty much spot on between the two. Let's look at this area. This would be a blue like that is a little difficult for most printers with a blue ink to be able to reproduce. There's as you transition from cyan to blue to purple, You have to look at that and make sure there's no jumps in the tonal change. It has to be gradual. And on the standard image, like here, right there, you look at the how gradual is that transition. Does it jump? Does it have a gap? Does it have a like a band on it? Or you see that? I wish my light was working. Shoot. Anyway, so what's my recommendation? Just get one printer. Don't get multiple printers. Those of you who have them, you know what a pain that can be. And now, how does it print a monochrome version of that? For example, so matte paper, glossy paper, and then matte paper, monochrome. Well, heck, this is awesome. This guy right here, the top of his hat is pure white. It's like the border, no ink. Right here, the ores, they have density. They're almost white, but they are just so. That tells me, as I look at the shadows also, I see some areas that are black, but as I look at them closer, I'm seeing detail inside these areas. For you, it looks black, but for me, I can see detail. I can see different shades of very dark gray. That means, whoops, that means one thing. This. If I look at this, and you can barely see this. I wish I had that thing on. From 2, that is 000 is dead black. 2 is just a little bit above that, and so on, so on, so on, until 24. So if I take, for example, this is from the XP 15000, and I backlight it, I'm able to detect, in this case, I think the 8, possibly 6. And then white over here. So this is 255. 254 is just under white. A molecule of ink landed on it. 254. 255 is just the border, no ink. So yeah, I can see that actually. I can see 253. That's great. Okay, that is not, oh, not good enough. No, no, no. That is great. Okay. So that means that even though this, since this is like almost a perfect control, if I can print this and reproduce the maximum tonality that this image has, and I can put that on paper that is dull as hell by comparison to a monitor, and I can see it visually with my eyeballs, God, that's nirvana. Okay. I did I pushed that XP 15000 to its max. Okay, let's look at the other one. So people assume, okay, that Pro 1000 will be the best. Okay, let's look at that. You could think 8550, Pro 1, Pro 1000. Here it is on top. So let's look at these. Okay, again, you can't see them because no light. Oh, I can see number 2. Okay, I can see number 2. And 253. So I can see from black also. Black is actually darker than number 2. There is a border around this band. You can't see it here. There is a border that is black, 000. Then the number 2, 222. You can see the 000 around it. Come on. Okay, so yeah, it's a little bit better than the, well, what did you expect, right? 8550. The people, Pro 1, again. No, the Pro 1 is not as good as the Pro 1000. I can only see like the 8, spot number 8. So not as good as the Pro 1000. Pro 1000 so far, number one. 8550. 6. Not bad. Not bad at all. So that gives you an idea how, what is it you're trying to achieve. These differences are microscopic. On a general photograph, you're not going to see any of that. Okay. That's like when Mike Cheney was saying that as soon as you print that standard image, it starts to fade as not fade, but change in value slightly as it's drying, as it's degassing. In other words, the liquids that are still molecules that are still liquid evaporate, water basically. It causes the values to change slightly. They can be measured. You're not going to see it. Well, yeah. The same thing with making comparison like this. You're not going to really see it. Um, so should I just stick with the XP 15,000? Well, why not? Mike Lee swears by it. He loves it. He absolutely loves it. He says it's better than the 8550. I prefer the 8550, larger tanks, 15,000 uses cartridges. And of course, the cost is different. 350 for the 15,000, and as far as 800 when it was brand new when it first came out. Now you can get it for $550, $600 when it's on sale. So yeah, it's just you know whatever fits your needs. Now we're going to be doing these two. Okay, so this is actually now using Canon papers. So this is platinum gloss. I'm going to write it in the back. Print Prism platinum gloss. It's already dried overnight. Canon Plat gloss. And then, of course, 8550. So we're going to be using the 8550 to scan it, and it was created on the 8550. Could have been done on the Pro 1000 or the Pro 1 or whatever, but this is Pro Luster. So it's just Print Prism, Pro Luster, of course, Canon, and 8550. EcoTank 8550. And I mistakenly, and this will be a good little joke, I mistakenly printed one on regular copy paper. And I am almost willing to scan this. I don't know if it's going to work. I need to trim it. Let me do that just for the hell of it. I don't think anyone has ever made a profile. Maybe they have, if they are really nuts like me, for this kind of paper. This is the one we did last week, ultra fine photo quality luster, right here. And I have that as an 11 by 17 type of paper. Now let me show you the current set of results. And I'm going to do something crazy today. We're going to make a sublimation profile. Okay, using print prism. You guys saw this? Okay, this is actually that fine art paper, that one I just talked about. This one, ultra fine photo quality luster. Again, an old box that I found in the back, and it produces this. And then I use my current profile for aluminum and produce this. I have yet to put the mounts on the back, but this is going to be one that's going to go on my stair wall. And there it is. Look at the match. Okay, two different, totally different surfaces, totally different substrates, and yet the colors basically match. You may have slight differences in contrast. You may have slight differences in other aspects, but it matches. It matches. One thing that's really weird, and I just noticed that just now, maybe the image when it was created by Photoshop, right here, this should have been pure white. It sort of looks like it's reversed a little bit. Posterization, I think they call it, right here as well again. It should have been more of a pure white. But anyway, it's still a beautiful result. So far, so good. And then, of course, this is Richard Bender's masterpiece right here. Let me get this all together here. 1 second here. This is the other one that I made in Photoshop. Made these two the same day. And again, that deserves to be printed in aluminum as well. And here's Richard's. I'm going to do we're going to be doing metal prints on these as well. And those will be framed in little black frames, just like I did with the earlier version. And again, if I sell these, which I think I will, we're going out to dinner while lunch. Okay. You pick the place and we'll go there. And lunch is on me because this will generate the required money. This is the paper. This is that 17 by 11. Okay. So yeah, and again, it was just made here with print prism. Amazing. Okay, let's get started. I had another subject that I was going to hit first. Let's see what time we have. Okay, we've been on for just over an hour. 1 hour so far. Ah, thank you. He's up for it. Yes. So lots of new models. Wow, that's amazing. I would like to know what that is in English, of course. Um, what is that? What is that little icon there? I don't know. No smoking. Oh, that's all. Wow. Okay, that's good. Good for you. Kevin says yesterday was 23 below zero. No, 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 no way. You're gonna get it up there. When I lived in Massachusetts, um, I remember we used to, us soldiers, we lived in military housing, and we had a little parking area for each block of townhouses, apartments, and we were responsible to clean it from the snow. We ended up with piles that were like 7 feet tall, off to the corners. Yeah, it would just keep accumulating, and it would sublimate. It would just become gas, not melt. So cold. All right. So we showed the consistency between four printers. Quite amazing. Should we talk about refurbished Canon printheads before we begin to do these profiles? Because once I get going, I'm just not going to stop. So I have here, when Rick Johnson sent me the printer, he also included a refurbished printhead that he had purchased. And he tried to get it clean using traditional methods. Here it is right here. Wow, you can't see the inside. Again, you can, there you go. You see the ports? And then here is the nozzle plate. Each nozzle plate has 4 rows of tiny holes, microscopic holes basically, each representing a nozzle. And there are some redundant nozzles in there. So here's what happens. I'll go through this as quickly as I can. As you print, these are thermal printheads. They create a droplet of ink, goes into that little micro chamber. There is some sort of resistor in there that heats that droplet. When you heat a liquid, it expands. So it gets it up to like almost boiling point. It expands and no longer fits, and it gets spit out. That's it. The process of doing this millions of times causes a nozzle to begin to deteriorate. Or if it clogs up, and as you are printing, the printer detects that it can no longer use that nozzle, it will immediately replace it by a redundant nozzle, one that is not being used. But when it does this, the redundant nozzles, say, make it easy. You have 100 of them and you're using 75 and you have 25 spares. Those 25 spares are not electronically connected. The 75 are. When one of them goes bad, in other words, damaged due to repeated heat, or it clogs up. So 2 conditions. Clog up means it just got clogged. It's not damaged. It's just clogged. It gets replaced by one of the 25. That one that it replaces it gets activated. The one that got removed gets deactivated. Okay? And so on and so on and so on until all 25 of them, whatever the real number is, get used up, put to use, put to service, and eventually they all get deactivated due to either damage or clogging. When that happens, that's it, it's done. You need a new printhead. So you go to eBay, you look up Pro 100 printhead, and you get a lot of different choices, and some of them are pretty tempting. $75. And all you see is this. You don't see it in its original box. It has to be in its original packaging. If it is in its original packaging, it's not going to be $75. It's going to be more like $300. Yes. So, or less, maybe if you're lucky. So what happens is this, and I'm going to hit both subjects at once. Let me go ahead and erase this. We'll go through this immediately. So what do? You buy that, or let's just say that you try cleaning your printhead and no longer, or the printer threw a B200 error at you. So you buy one of these. This is what they do. Okay, if you buy a new one, then it's perfect. This is what they do, and they call it refurbishing. So as you see here, those ports. So they have created a device that attaches, okay, like something I'm going to show you next. attaches to that printhead into all of those 8 ports. And then they are able to force, I don't know how gently they do this, a cleaning fluid solution. And more than likely, it will have some ammonia in it, some other solvents. And eventually, they see water or fluid squirting out. And it will squirt out in a fan shaped set of little tiny micro streams. Like I said, here there are 4 rows. I don't know if you can detect that. So each one of those rows represents one of these ports and represents a specific color. So they look at that and they spray it. And you see the fan and they say, okay, nice. And now they change it to water, distilled water. Okay. Then the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. Eventually all of the nozzles are spraying water. So you think you're getting a printhead whose all the nozzles are spraying. Why does that not still make you think? Here's the catch. Remember, I told you that in this imaginary situation, you have 175 of them are the ones that you need to print with, 75 active ones, and then you have 25 extra on inactive nozzles. Well, now they're all clean. They can pass liquid. So if you are lucky as hell, maybe that yellow channel still has 10 unused nozzles. And maybe the reason it went bad wasn't because of damage, because of a clog. Let's just say all of them were in that condition. They were just simply slightly clogged and they were able to clear them out. And every channel had a certain number of working nozzles, 75, but only, say, in the unused, the redundant section, 10 got used and you got 15 left. Or you have 5 used, you have 20 left. Or all of them were used. That printhead is not going to work. Okay? It's not going to work. It might work for a tiny little bit. And as soon as one, say you have 75 fully working nozzles, but no redundant ones left, they were all used and they are deactivated. Yeah. So, yeah, the printer will print, and then bingo. One of those 75 yellow nozzles needs to be replaced, and there's no replacement for them. That's the catch. So you need to start with a brand new expensive one. Sorry. Yeah. Now, there is some device that I heard rumors about that allow these people to de to reactivate the ones that were replaced. If they were replaced but they were not damaged, they were simply clogged, then they cleared them out and they can be reactivated using this device and some sort of a special tool, let's just say software. Yeah, but you still don't know what you're getting. So stay away from those. Okay. Now, Rick bought one of these and he tried to clean it and he used it and yeah, it still had issues. So let's just say, let's forget about this. Let's just say that this was your print head and it had a little bit of a clog. You did cleaning cycles and it just did not work. It didn't clear it. There's no damage. There's just you didn't use it for a month or whatever. So you take it out and you very carefully add a few droplets of cleaning solution here. You put this on a tray over a paper towel that is wet, maybe a quarter inch of that cleaning solution on the little plastic tray, and you just let the ink pass through. Well, that's only a tiny amount of ink that can be loaded there. You see that? Maybe a few drops. Rick or Rudy Hallamum created this baby. And this attaches to this. like so. You fill this whole tank with cleaning solution. You sit it on your tray over wet paper towels, and you let that water, not water, but the cleaning solution pass through. That is 1,000 times more cleaning solution than you originally were doing it drop by drop. Okay. So this could work, assuming obviously that the print head is not absolutely damaged. In other words, damaged print head cannot be fixed. Okay. You can unclog it, but it's not going to shoot through that nozzle. The nozzle is dead. Okay. But anyway, so this is available. Again, remember my app. Go there, go to Rudy Hallamum's, go to his little store online and look for this and purchase it. He will create that for you and you'll be set. You'll be able to then properly do a cleaning on your Pro 100 cartridge. It's amazing, really amazing, right here. Okay, that is deleted. I'm going to do 2 quick print prism profiles on Canon Pro Luster, Canon Platinum Gloss for the 8550 using print prism. Okay, here we go. So let me open up print prism. And print prism right now is about, I think it's version 113. So let me have that sitting in the background. I'm going to open up, normally I would open up QImage and print those charts. Again, using, in this case, Pro Luster. So I use Epson Pro Luster as the paper choice. And with the other one, I use the ultra glossy choice. But I'm using Canon papers for the 8550. So what's available in the drop-down menu has to match, sort of. So you're going to create those charts. This one was printed using Epson Pro Luster. Okay, but no color management, set to off. This one, their best glossy paper, ultra something glossy. And then again with the color management set to off. So let's go ahead and begin. So you would print this, let it dry overnight, trim so that you don't see the little yellow trim marks inside that. Trim inside that. I'm going to ask Mr. Cheney to maybe increase the black area, the black border a little bit, just to have enough room for you to. It's got to be black, and you cannot have the little golden trim lines, the dash lines show. From what I hear. Okay, so let's just go ahead and I'm going to make sure. Let me get a paper towel, not a paper towel, a napkin, and clean that platen. You remember that paper that I used the last time that never really truly dried? It left some smudges there. That caused the problem, as you could imagine. Okay, so we will begin with the Canon Pro Luster right here. So line it up as best you can. Okay. So in this case, the only thing you really need to worry about is just basically it's already chosen my 8550. You can scan now. I'm going to come up and immediately put a. So if you look here, EcoTank 8550, EcoTank 8500, EcoTank L8160 or 8180 or any of these other ones. So, and I think this is the Canon scanner that you can buy for like $70. And here's an Epson V392 that I believe is also very low cost. Okay, so I'm going to come up with a name for this. So this is going to be Canon Pro luster paper, 8550, of course. Put an N on Canon. I'm going to copy that because I'm going to paste it later on, and then add it to my destination folder for my profiles. And that's it. Now I'm going to do neutral, obviously normal. So let's go ahead and scan now. It's going to give us this. In the latest instructions, I saw, make sure this is not clicked. Okay, make sure that's blank. Make sure that is blank. And make sure that thumbnail is also left blank. You want the whole scan. So let's go ahead and do a preview. Just for the heck of it. You don't have to. But I want to make sure that I get a good preview. Okay. And now we're going to scan. And you're going to scan 3 times. They're going to be stacked. The reason for that is to get a more accurate result. A spectrophotometer, such as my i1 Pro 2, pulses 200 times per second. And if you're going over a set of patches when you're doing the scanning, that will multiple scans of that particular patch. So the more patches the more scans or the more samplings that you take, the more accurate that reading of that particular little patch. So we're working with microscopic little patches here, not like the ones from the i1 Pro 2, which are much larger. So that's it. We're done. Now it's going to load the image. We're going to give it a name here. Remember, I copied it. So now we're going to paste it. And that's it. And here it is right here. We're going to detect the corners. Hopefully we'll find them. And I did. Wonderful. So I'm doing this actually slower than I normally would. All the little indicators or the little selections are right inside every one of the patches. There's nothing outside. So this is actually ready to be go through the profile creation process. Boom, done. And it looks like you're using an older printer target, 4.0. Oh, you can still generate profiles using the old. Oh, wait a minute. Is there a new? Oh, shoot. I did not know that. Let's start from scratch then. Oh, I cannot. Ah, shoot. Okay. Anyway, you would normally do that. Just generate that. So this apparently is was replaced. Let me check something. Let me make sure that, because there's so many upgrades to this wonderful tool, that here's a print for some scans. Huh. Did he change it? I have the latest. I just installed this. Yeah, that's the old one. Oh, no. What a dum-dum. Yeah, that's the old one. But anyway, you would just go ahead and create the profile and be done. So let's get really funky here, and let's do the sublimation profile. I'll have to redo this because I got to let it dry for, a good amount of time. So that's my bad. So let's go ahead and print on my Epson XP 4200. We're going to do a patch set and print it on the sublimation paper. It'll be reversed so that we can then cook it onto an 8x12, and then I'll have to trim it and we'll scan it, and you should be able to see. And then I'm going to do another one. Then I'm going to do an actual sublimation print. I think I'll use that image with the one from my friend here. I want to use this one here. So I think I must have chosen the wrong set of patches. Stupid me. I want to do this one, but oh no, I forgot. I cannot really crop that to make it fit. Remember, I'm working with 8x12, and this is more like a 16, like a 9x16, something like that ratio. So I don't want to. I'll do one of my images. We'll just take care of that way. All right. So let me make sure that I have the correct. Oh gosh, yeah, that was not the correct one. Yeah, dumb. I have it set on my I have it on my what you call it, my desktop, and it automatically picked the one that was in my picture folder, and that is not the right one. You got to be careful. Okay, here's the correct one. I'll show you what I mean. Here's the correct one. Let me double click it so you see what I'm talking about. So the correct one has these little patches from white down to black. That's the one we need to print. Okay, that's the one that will be calibrated to the new updated firmware. And if you are ever really bored, you can count every one of those little patches. Not me. Okay, so let's go here, set the 4200, and we'll set it to basically letter size. We're going to do an 8x10 print. I have to, because remember, I was trying to find my 11x17 paper and then do the larger, but I couldn't find it. I don't know where I put it. So 8x10 gives you this. So that's fine. I can just go ahead and print that. And we're going to turn off sharpening. Remember, that's what Mike said. Turn off sharpening here. We're going to not use any profile. We're going to turn it to off. Yes, and I want to make sure, where the heck did I see that it was mirrored? I forget, but I think it will be mirrored. I'll take my chances. Yeah, mirror image right here. And bidirectional printing. Okie doke. That way you'll be able to scan it by, in the right orientation. Otherwise it'll be flipped. The software won't know what to do. Now, this is not photo paper, so I think I can get away with simply holding it underneath my plate, my so-called press, and dry it that way. Ah, too bad. I gotta get rid of this. Darn. This would have been okay like a month ago. I'll show you the difference. Okay. There is a difference, and it needs that. See the bottom? See right here? It's not there. My bad. And then here's the one on plain paper. Gosh, I'm going to try that just for the heck of it. Should I choose plain paper as my paper type? I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Let me prep my aluminum here, get it ready. And then we're going to use this. This is going to be scanned. And then the truth will be, can we actually create a good sublimation print? When you do this, you can do this, but you have to be extra careful. And you know me, sometimes I make mistakes. Well, more than sometimes. You have to burn this for exactly the same amount of time you will do your prints. Okay, otherwise you're going to have a difference. You cannot use a different temperature and different amount of time than you do for your normal regular images that you will be using that profile with. So we'll I'm curious now whether I should do a comparison between my current profile and the one we're just about to create. I don't want to use up my aluminum to tell you the truth. I'll just do the one with the new profile. So yeah. Okay, let's see what we have here. Whoa, wait a minute. What do you think about the printer prism profiling software? I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic. And Mike Lee thinks it's fantastic. Again, I don't know whether you were here earlier, but I had a conversation with Mike. He contacted me, I told you guys, and asked me if I had heard about Print Prism. I said, not only have I heard, but I got to, you know, install the very first version of it and use it before anyone else had it. And so far, it's very impressive. So um, I have an idea of something to do. I would say get a certain type of paper, go to my i1 Pro software, and create a profile using their setup. And then before that, I would have created a Print Prism profile. And then at the end of the profile creation process on the software for i1 Pro 2, it allows you to make a comparison with another profile that you may have created, and they will be superimposed on top of each other. The bigger profile, the one that extends beyond, is the best one. So we'll see. Sometimes, even though you may have a smaller gamut, it will be more accurate. So it's not all about size in this case. Um, I've noticed that the actual file sizes are not as large as those made traditionally. Okay. That's looking good. Anyway, we can get out of Q image here. It's lagging. Don't start lagging. Okay, so this we'll have to do next time. So this is one we're working on now. And then if my connection still works, it's lagging a little bit. I'm going to do an AI generation in Photoshop. And we'll see what we can come up with. Okay, so this is dried, actually printed. I'm going to go ahead and trim it quickly. Okay. So here she is. We'll go ahead and let us sit here for a few minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use view of large snow-covered mountains in the distance from across a valley with dramatic skies at sundown. We'll see what that generates. Who knows? Uh, this better be absolutely clean because remember, we have so many little patches and they all have to be transferred as best as possible. So we want to make very, very sure that there's nothing here to prevent that from happening. While that is warming up more, I'm going to preheat my base. It's doing that now. I'm going to lay this down. Get it as straight as I can possibly get it. I didn't really have to trim it because I'm going to trim the aluminum anyway. Force I have it. I got my tile cutter here with me, which I've been using for trimming aluminum. I think at some point it's going to give up on me. I'll probably buy a new one because I know that they actually work. So let that got 32 minutes, 32 seconds left. Sorry. Um, yeah, I thought I answered that already. Sorry. I saw it and it looked different to me, but 16, 15, 14, 10, 13, 10, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. I don't know what would happen if I try to scan the whole thing at once without trimming it. I don't know. That may not work. Not sure. Here we go. I am not absolutely sure whether this is the way that I have seen uh, printers that are made for sublimation and they have their own ink formulation and they supposedly offer profiles for certain aluminum sublimation blanks. Are they using the same method? I think that would be the case. I'm not entirely sure whether they are doing that or not. HZ says, so say, I suspect you'll have to trim aluminum target print before scanning because the print prism wants to see the empty area around the black border of the target. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm not sure whether the outer white border will blend with the white area of the, no, the scanner. Don't know. I'm going to trim it anyway. Want to make sure. Regardless, I'm going to make sure that I do this correctly. So here's my little trimmer. I hope it can handle this. It should be. Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Hot, hot, hot. I should have moved this out of the way first. So I need to put it on that cold surface. And let this baby dry. Cool down, that is, not dry. Beautiful transfer. No specks anywhere, no little blotches that I can see. Wow, okay. All right. This is the big test right here. Good, no white marks anywhere. I got it trimmed off well into the black area. Now comes the long end. I hope I can trim that whole long end. Sometimes it's a little difficult. It's difficult because this edge sort of sticks up a little bit. It's made for tile, not for metal, but you know, I can get away with doing this. Good. So far. Got a little dent on this side. Let me make sure I can see if I can remove that. There we go. Okay, here we go. Boom, done. Okay, got it done. And I've been putting this stuff in my metal recycling little bin that I use for my soda cans and such. I throw it all in here at this point, but later on I separate it. All right, so this is done. Let me make sure there's no smudges. Of course, I touched it. There's going to be a smudge. That's the only catch with this material. You look at it the wrong way and it creates a smudge. So I'm going to check something. I just realized something. I hope that is not what I'm thinking. Hold on. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, good. I'm not even going to say what it was. Just lay it out on the snow to cool. Oh, sure. Imagine. Imagine that. All right, let's bring the, make sure that I have a new one here for the print we're about to create. After we create this fantastic profile. Let's hope for the best. Okay, let's open up Print Prism. I have it sitting right on top of QImage. So everything is set already. I just need to change this. It's no longer a paper. This is going to be the 4200. So XP Epson XP 4200 and sublimation. Sublimation. Right? Copy. Transfer. Okay, let's go ahead and scan. And I forgot to mention one little thing. Color management has to be off, so none. So you have this unchecked, this unchecked. We'll do the preview just for the heck of it. And then we'll go ahead and do the scan. Oh, 300 DPI, of course, photo mode, not selected, 8550. That's the scanner. And first capture was done. Second scan, scan. This is the part that marveled Mike Lee, because he was thinking that a single scan would not be sufficiently accurate as far as capturing the most information for each one of those thousands of patches. Okay, we're done. And now we're just going to save it. And we're going to then save, sublimation, and create. After we hopefully can get all of the corners identified. Here we go. Let's do that. If this fails, then you can do it by hand like I did last week. I think I showed you guys how to do that. Again, we'll just do a quick scan all the way around. Make sure that everything's, all the little indicators are inside. Okay? Like so. And now it should not complain. There you go. So now it's going to create that profile. Let me load a piece of paper for our next actual print. If we can get this to work, oh my gosh, there's no end to what you can do with this software. Has any of you people that visit me every Sunday, have you gotten the nerve yet to start sublimating? I mean, do you see what you can create here? I wish I had my light on, but this kind of result. And this aluminum, the 8x10, it's got a glitter type coating on it, which really makes this look beautiful. That's what I use for my little versions that I made for the show. Again, the only catch with this is the smudge. You have to use cotton gloves to handle this stuff as you're, you know, mounting hardware for going on the wall. For display purposes, you need to really be careful you don't smudge the surface with your smudgy hands, like mine. And people will just go like, "Oh my gosh, Mike! Oh my gosh, John! Oh my gosh, Jose! How did you do that?" And this is very dark right now. Okay, let me see if I can get it lit up by that side light. Look at that. This is like results you would never imagine you could get from any of your images. And this is not even a real image, it's AI. So, okay, so this, I believe, has been completed. Let me show you. It's done. No more moving down here. Everything is done. So let's go ahead and close this. And I'm going to go to my desktop just a second here. Um, I want to check. You won't see this, but I am going to look at my color folder. I have a little bit of a copy of my color folder on my desktop. Yep, Epson XP 4200 sublimation ICM, and there it is. Okay, so now we'll be able to access it in QImage, but I think I gotta close it and restart it again to be able to load that new profile. So we'll just quickly do that. I am going to pick one of Richard's. No, I'm going to do mine because Richard's, uh, the format doesn't quite fit 8x12. So let's see. I mean, Richard Bender, yeah. Where am I? New? How about this one here? Oh, wait a minute. I think I got them on my desktop. Sorry, you're not seeing this yet. Here we go. Okay, so there you go. So we'll just do one of these. Let's see, I don't want to repeat the same one. This will be a little bit larger, so it'll be nicer. So this is the one with the kayaks. And we're not going to do a kayak. We're just going to do a sunset, such as this one here. So let's set this up. Before we load the image, you got to set up your printer. So obviously, sublimation, boom. And in this case, I'm going to do, oh shoot. Let's do an 8x10 instead. I forgot that I don't have my larger paper with me. So we'll just do an 8 by 10. That glittery stuff. Very nice. We'll get that set up. So we're going to print that image on the sublimation paper, and I will do it to 8 by 10. So it'll be 8.1 by 10.1. And that will fit on the 11 and a half by my 8.5 by 11 paper. Otherwise, I'd have a problem. So we got 8.5 by 11 paper, presentation paper mat, and of course, this is the one we're going to change. So we're going to look here, and we're going to search for that new profile we just made. So I'm going to click on date, go to the very bottom, and there it is right there. Double click, relative colorimetric, black point compensation, okay, and we are ready. So we'll size this, like I said, just a little bit larger, 8.1 to 10 by 10.1, boom, and this is ready to be printed. Let me make sure that I have some sharpening involved here. Yeah, I do. It is ready to go. It's got a little bit of a boost on saturation as well. I got my automatic exposure, 0.5 and 0.5 from highlights. Everything is set. It's good to go. So this is this one here. This is the one I did full size. There you go. We're going to compare that. Very good. So let me make sure. I need to crop it, or I can just trim it. Forget it. I'm not going to crop it. I'm going to leave it full frame, and I'll just trim off the excess. Too bad. Okay, let's do this. Not ready? What do you mean not ready? Oh, I see. I tried to do the job through my USB connected install, but that is not going to work because I normally use the Wi-Fi, but now it's not. What is it not doing? Oh, I see. Okay, so why aren't you allowing me to do that? Okay, let's just get out of here. Oh, it's trying to. Oh, it's sending it. Wait a minute. Yeah, you can't send it. You told me it wasn't available. It was trying to send it. That's why. But again, we just canceled it. No problem. And this is the one we're going to choose. Bingo, this one right here. And again, we'll just load the same. I tell you what, I kind of like this one. Okay, that's the one we were doing anyway. So yeah, I like it for some reason. Now, the other one that I did, oh, I see. This is the one we just did. So we'll do the other one. It's a different one. There you go. That's the one we're going to do. And does it need sharpening? Indeed, it does. So 2 by 150. That's good enough. And then exposure. Bingo. Maybe a little extra bump on saturation just for the heck of it. I mean, these things have to have pop. You have to impress your viewer. I mean, we're out there in the cold shooting this for hours. No, you weren't. You were in a nice warm room generating everything from AI. Don't try to fool me. But I tell you what, I could create a storyline if I showed these to somebody, someone, and they would just believe it. they would simply believe it. Let me make sure I got the right border. Yep, 8.5, 8.1, 10.1. Presentation paper matte. I got it on off, which is not what I want. We want to load that profile again. See, because I did not do the job, it doesn't remember what I did. Had I done the job, it would have remembered it. There you go. Black point, relative. Okay. Now the driver has to be set to off. Let's check that. More options, advanced, no color adjustment. So that's automatically set and print. And now this time it should go through. Most times what I normally do, because I don't have enough USB ports. I have a couple of, what do you call those little units that have multiple ports, but the computer can only handle so many. So I have all my printers set to Wi-Fi as well as USB. For something like a large file, I'll set it to USB because that's the easiest way to transfer a large file. Even though, my router is right here, so right there. So there shouldn't be any issues. But some people experience that even with a very close by router. So I think some of these images will be good for a 2x3. That would be a 2 foot by 3 foot, excuse me, print in full size. So something like this, and it would be finished in this manner. The back would be finished in that manner. So something like this. A little frame around it. Again, I use, I think it's like 3/32 square. And then I cut a slit right down the middle. That's enough for the width of this. And then I create a frame, which I pre-stain black. Basically, I'm just using a large magic marker. And then I go over it with some matte or semi-gloss acrylic. And then we cut the miters, create the frame, then finish the back so that it looks like this. And then I put my label on it, which is just, again, another piece of card with my information on it. And I make it look like it's been treated with little tiny brass or iron little clamps there. They're like giant staples. They hold that frame together. Of course, it's not really holding anything together. Everything is glued. But it gives the appearance of. In the miniature world, these collectibles, they want the look, and they don't care how you achieve it, just as long as it has the look that they want. Let me make sure that I get this stuff out of the way here. I want to move my Spectra over. My Spectra that I'm not using anymore over this way. There we go. Good. That's printing well. The beauty about having that heat press next to you on a chilly day like this, yeah, you can guess. Keeps me nice and warm. I don't know why that happens. How long have I been without audio? I just noticed my audio, my microphone had been muted. Did I do that? Of course I didn't. Yeah. Am I okay now? You should be able to hear me now. Yeah. I don't understand it. It's right down here, and you would have to manually turn it off. Okay. I don't know whether you heard what I was talking about then. I was talking about doing a profile for canvas. And what kind of canvas? Breathing color. So I have a box. I show you this without audio. We have audio now. I can see. It's a sample pack. It's pretty big. Um, right here we have some canvas and other types of paper. Unfortunately, there's not that much. Yeah, I have a few sheets of canvas here. So we'll go ahead and do that and see how it works. The only thing that I was worried about is just like with the linen paper from Strathmore, it has a pattern. And if you shrink yourself microscopically, it's it's like this. And those grooves collect ink. So they can microscopically create little areas that are darker than the say the peak of those that texture. And if it's a rough paper, like a watercolor paper, like a any kind of texture paper, you will have hills and valleys, and wherever two hills converge, ink can collect there. So it'll be a little bit difficult for the spectrophotometer even to be able to scan something like that. I have people complain that they cannot scan canvas. Okay, so yeah, 5 minutes. Oh my God, that's horrible. Jeez, this is really annoying. Okay. Um, and again, I'm not doing anything. I did not go over there and click off my microphone. I would have to manually do that. So it's nuts. Okay, so this is ready to be attached to this paper. I mean, to this plate. Here it is right here. We're going to be doing some trimming, so no worries. Just want to make sure that everything's as straight as possible because my little trimmer is not the most accurate tool we have. We're going to end up with two white borders that we'll just trim off. Okay. I don't think we're going to do the AI today. I'm worried about, I'm thinking about upgrading my computer, getting a brand new one. Um, I'm having issues with any Adobe video editing tools when you load a video and you play it back. Maybe it's just my machine. I'm going to test it on Janine's computer upstairs, determine whether it is Adobe's fault or whether it's just my machine at this point. And if that is the case, if it works upstairs, then I will go ahead and after tax refund comes, I'll buy myself a new computer. There's some very nice pre-built ones over at uh, the store, basically Micro Center. And so it'll be very high everything for editing and gaming, and really made for gaming. So good graphics and good RAM. huge amount of RAM, and of course like a gigabyte SSD file hard drive. So things like that. That's what I need. This is already 10 years old. It's a little out of touch with today's needs. So especially these applications now that are super hogs for resources. 210. If you have a very sensitive nose like my lady upstairs, um, you will notice that there's a certain smell that this generates. I don't find it that bad, but it is kind of, it's not a very pretty smell. No. Excellent transfer. Take the tape tabs off. It stops snowing. Again, this was supposed to be almost like a blizzard, and I'm so happy that it did not occur. So tomorrow I'll do a little cleaning outside and do my sidewalk and my driveway, clean the car off. There shouldn't be any school for Nathan. At least I hope not. Okay, so I'll show you the results with the border. Gorgeous. Oh my God. So this profile really did its job. Now, of course, you got to remember I did not, transfer that chart to this type of aluminum. I transferred it to the 8x12, which is slightly different. This has a glitter on it. The other one does not. So, but still, you know, I see this hanging and I'm going like, wow, amazing. So I'll have to find my 11x17 sublimation paper and prep some larger images, and I can do some full frame 8x12s, and that should tell me how good the profile that I created is. And, if I feel like it, I can do a comparison. But I think at this point, I'm just going to use this profile. I'm going to use my sleeve so that I do not smudge it. Line this up. Trim this off. Flip it over. Do the opposite side. And if I want to do like full frame, just like this is, this is not the correct profile, the correct format, I should say, for one thing that happens is the little nut right here becomes loose. I just noticed that. I'm surprised I was able to trim. And I'll show you that in 1 second here. The intensity is just ridiculous. And this is what I wanted to see. So yeah, I'm going to be doing this in the 2x3s. This is a good image to sell in that modern art type category with a nice little slender little black frames around it. This should be a popular item. Um, the reason I'm doing that is because people just may not accept the bare metal prints. They're not used to that yet. The people that I deal with in the miniature world, they may not accept this by itself hanging or a miniature version of it with just nothing on the edges. They want to see some sort of little frame. So I'm going to provide them with that. Turning that off. Okay. Put this down here. I got to take this upstairs because I'm working on a project right now. I use my trimmer to trim all of that old paper that I put in the back. Uh, the paper comes from a photo album that was never used, and it was like from 1960. So the paper is brittle and yellow, and it looks aged. It used to not be yellow. Okay, a lot of people in my world, they would take regular paper that you buy at the store and then treat it with tea or coffee, get it wet, and then make antique paper that way. I'm actually using real antique paper. So, any more questions? Anything from you guys? Let me know what's happening. Mhm. What would you like to do next week? I'm going to do the canvas profiling for sure. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So, breathing color, master sample pack, and everything comes labeled. As you can see, it's a very thick pack of material here. In the back is what I really want to try. I want to try this. Oh my gosh. You'll never guess what's here. What is this called? Silverata. What? Take a guess. What do you think Silverado is going to be? I'll wait. Oh my God. No, I cannot wait. This, I have to do this. Glossy canvas. So normally, Breathing Color is known for their varnish, for like real paintings that you maybe stretch a painting over a stretcher and then you varnish it with a roller with this particular varnish. So they make the same varnish for inkjet printing as well. So if you were printing on a roll of canvas and it was just matte canvas, when you stretch it over your stretcher mounted, then you would give it a coat with that varnish, and it doesn't lift the inks off of the surface. Some solvent based varnishes will do that, but not theirs. So this, oh, gee whiz, why would I bother using Strathmore paper, linen, when I can just print on this and then cut them and they are real canvas? People would freak out when they see this. I just discovered I had this. So I would need to buy quite a bit of this. Let me see how many sheets I have. Okay, this is your normal matte canvas. No, slightly. It has a slight. So this is called 17M satin. So this has just a tiny, I don't know, this looks even finer weave and a tiny bit. Oh boy. Oh boy. Can this be profiled? I hope so. Let me see what else I got. So that was 2 sheets of the shiny stuff. Here's the 117M satin. Oh, I have several sheets of this. Oh, excellent. Wonderful. Oh boy, that's going to be fun. So I will do the printing of these charts. Again, I'm glad that Print Prism only requires 1 sheet per profile, because otherwise I couldn't afford to do this. So that is for next week. Idea for next week: use one paper profile with Prism 8550 and Pro 1000. Scan both on the Econet 8550. Then make a print, same standard image on both and compare the results. Sure. Yeah, I could do that. The only problem is, what paper would I use? I would have to use not a Canon paper, not an Epson paper, but just some other paper, and then print them on both machines, profile them, and then print the standard image using either profile, right? Because otherwise, I would, if I wasn't doing it correctly, I would use Canon paper for the Pro 1000, Epson paper for the 8550. No, the papers are going to be different. So same paper, but not Canon or Epson. It would have to be a third-party brand. And then both printers, yeah, that'll be a good idea. And I will schedule that for next week. Heck, I might actually do that as a video. Who knows? We'll see. Anything else? I'm open for anything you guys want me to try, to demo. I think most people have a better imagination than I do. I have to read it, and well, most of the time I read it and just look at it and try to follow those instructions. I'm not creative. Okay. I can do all of these little cute frames and everything, but I have to really think hard to be able to come up with ways to achieve that result, especially in miniature. So yeah, that if that is something you would like me to try, I could literally just use that paper right here. I can use this stuff right here. It's a very nice luster paper, great quality. Can you even find it anymore? I don't know. Maybe. I would make profiles that I can then share with you guys, say on my Facebook group, so that they are downloadable, and then you guys can use them. Not everybody's going to have Print Prism. Not everybody's going to have a scanner that has been calibrated for Print Prism. So then, if you want to grab some profiles, they'll be in my Facebook group, and I can just go ahead and try all kinds of different papers, as long as the papers are still obtainable at your local office supply store or online, whether it's Amazon or eBay or whatever. Why to us? Okay, Pete, I thought I did this a while, but I can do that. I can do that next week. Okay. I am not an expert on how this works, but I can give you a pretty good picture of how this system of rendering intents works. Okay. And the thing is, it depends all on your image. A normal image that is not very demanding will look identical, whether you use relative colorimetric or perceptual. Okay, it will look identical. The only time is maybe an image such as the one I just sublimated. That's a pretty demanding image. It has very strong colors. Many of them could be out of gamut. Okay, and you would see a difference between both rendering intents. But I think this day and age, you hardly ever see any differences at all. I could do it. I can go ahead and explain. We can do some visualization through soft proofing on Photoshop rather than printing, because that will show you the difference between each rendering intent visually. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The problem is you may not be able to see it. Okay. You may not be able to see it. And that's, I know that theoretically that would be a good idea, but in practice, it may not. It may not, because you may not be able to see it. I already did that, and you couldn't really see a difference. And I used an image that was really demanding. I looked at it under um, gamut warning on Photoshop, and yeah, it looked a little bit hot. And so I thought, okay, that should be good, but it turned out not to be the case. Let me put this over there while I am here. Okay. Let me see what'll happen if I try to use Photoshop. I'm still tempted to do this. Just tuned in back from lunch. Oh, you tuned in late. I'm about to leave. Mikey. So I did an aluminum profile, okay, on Print Prism. Okay, Print Prism restricts use of profiles like all other pro, not free tools. No sharing except to friends and family. Yeah, so that's what I mean. No consulting. I mean, no giving away. Can you give it away to between friends and users? Because I don't want to break any of your rules. Um, so in this case, say for instance, Precision Colors cannot use that, because they'll be producing profiles for all of their inks and printers and papers, and they're making them available for free. So I assume that is not allowed. So my idea, down the drain. I was going to suggest it to Matt, uh, to use to redo some of the profiles that may now be old. We have to say no white distribution because giving away selling undercut. Yeah, exactly. So that's fine. That's fine. That answers that question. I have no problems with that whatsoever. Anyway, so Mike, I created a profile for aluminum. How do you like that? So, what do you think about? I have some, now that I have you here, Mike, I have some canvas from Breathing Color. Breathing Color is a beautiful, great company that produces amazing canvas. They used to specialize on large roll canvas rolls for so-called glissé or giclé printing, um, which is a lot of artists were reproducing their work and then having it printed on large canvases and then stretched normally on stretchers. Um, it has a texture. Can a heavy, and let me show you, I don't know if you can see it live. For instance, here's a sheet of canvas. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see the texture, but there is a texture. So I'm thinking microscopically, these sections, these crisscross of I guess this is like French linen or Belgian linen type paper. I mean, not paper, but cloth. Um, can ink collect in those little valleys and cause an issue, especially since your little patches are microscopic? I'm going to try it. I am going to try it. Maybe the only way to do this is we'll use a regular spectral with some big patches so that if anything prints irregular, it will not have an effect when you scan it. But I think something extremely texture, it might be an issue. What do you think about that, Mike? Um, I think you already answered that. Let me put this away, and then I'll come back. By the way, Mike, feast your eyes on this. This is with that profile I just made, and the image is this ridiculous. Yes, and this is with the Epson XP 4200 using chipless firmware and only 4 colors. How about that? And this is the chart. I didn't think it was going to work, but it did. So, okay. Like I said, who reads? I don't. So, yeah, I get yelled at all the time for not reading. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely not for sale, of course. Well, data color is not that great. I never saw it as being very repeatable or, I always, I only had the colorimeter from them, the spider for monitors. And every time I did it, I get a different result. So not very good. Since it's going to look like burlap sack, and the profiles were great. Great. Okay, that is good to hear. That is good to hear. I will absolutely make a canvas profile. Although, yeah, I could go to breathing color, but see, the thing is, they're one of these companies that never considered the 8550 as a proper photo printer. So, if I want to, I can print that on the uh, Pro 1000. Nah, I want to try it on the 8550, and I will use Vivid Fine Art setting just for the hell of it and see what we get. I've never been able to get really brilliant results on canvas, but this company has the matte canvas, a slightly lustrous canvas, and then one that looks like it was varnished. And so I call it a glossy canvas. So I don't know if you were in while I was showing that, Mike, but I just remember I had this, and I just had to take a look at it. Oh, here it is. I put it in the wrong area. At least all the papers and the different medias are marked. But have a look at this, man. Glossy canvas. That's gonna be beautiful. I think that's gonna be amazing. Then I'll have to break down and go to breathing colors. See if they still have this stuff. It's called Silverado. No, Silverada. Silverada. That would be awesome. And I could use this for my mini prints. Ooh. And I don't have to worry about applying a coat of anything. Especially if I'm using that paper from Strathmore. I would rather use real canvas if I can get away with it. I don't know if you saw. Let me show Mike what I've been working on. Come on, this doesn't want to go in. It's always a little corner that gets stuck. There we go. So this will be for next week. And Mike, people want to know the science of rendering intents. I think maybe you should explain that. I can come up with some explanations, but I think maybe you should be the one explaining that. Maybe you will want to come on one of these Sundays. Yeah, that was from Print Prism. So yeah, I screwed up. I still have your old chart in my picture folder, and so last night I printed a couple of charts using the old chart, and of course, when I try to create the profile, it told me, "Hey, you're using a wrong, an older chart," and so yeah, and I let them dry overnight. I was going to do two Canon papers on it, so I'll repeat that and I'll do that next week correctly with a correct up-to-date chart, which of course I moved over to my another folder, but the Print Prism just defaulted to the one in my picture folder. So I should put it in both places just in case. Okay, let me go back to HC. What is that? The very top? Oh, here you go. Yeah. Mike, I want you to read this, okay? I'm going to give you 30 seconds and then I'll switch over to the next continuation here. Done? Okay, let's go to the next. Then Print Prism profile and OEM profile and accuracy and color separation is truly significant. I'm impressed. I'm happy, grateful to Mike Cheney for creating this. You can pat yourself in the back, Mike. It's okay. I allow you, even here. Do that. You deserve it. Yeah. What do you think? I was blown away. So I had an earlier profile that I did basically with the spectrophotometer. Um, yeah, only 400 patches. I'm going to throw that one out and I'm going to keep this one. I'm not going to do a comparison. I don't even care. Good. Then I'm going to get some from them. Okay, so I said something, and now that I have you here among only 22 of us, um, do you think these companies are going to come after you or contact you or mock you? You think anything like that's going to happen? I can see it coming. Because shouldn't they have come up with the same idea? Of course, they're not as brilliant as you are, but you know what I mean. Um, if I was X-Rite, I would be a little bit worried, I would say. How many other spectrophotometer companies are there besides X-Rite and you know what? the other one? I have to wonder. What's your opinion? Or do you not want to discuss that here? You don't have to. It's just that I see this happening. Smear campaign. That's what I would call it. Yeah, right there. Real solution. You got to quote that, quote unquote, real solution. I think it works so well that it's actually industry disruptive. So we'll see where it goes. Yeah, you disruptor, you. God, shame on you. That's like my friend Richard Bender here. I don't know whether he's still here with us. When he was a youngster, I think wasn't it in the 70s, Richard? You told me sometime years ago. Um, when I was working in photo labs in the military with fully automated equipment and such, I mean, we still did things by hand. So if you were developing, say, color film by hand, this is Kodak color film from Kodak, you have to have a water bath around your tanks. And that water bath was still had to be measured, controlled, temperature control, quarter degree, up or down, no more, quarter degree. Your chemicals had to be at a specific temperature. So he and his chemist friends came up with a formulation, a different chemistry that did not require that level of temperature accuracy. You literally took a measurement of, say, the developer. Color film is developed with black and white developer, then color developer. Um, they had to be whatever the temperature it was. You had a chart that you can just compute. Okay, if it's at 72 degrees, I develop for this amount of time. Well, Kodak got really ticked off. That's what I'm getting at. Um, Obviously, what they developed was groundbreaking. You no longer needed expensive water baths that control the temperature of the vats, the chemical vats. You didn't need a processing machine with temperature control to quarter degree accuracy, plus or minus. Okay. You could do it in your kitchen if you had a developing tank. Oh, if I was Kodak, I would be scared to death. You see what I mean? So, yeah. Let me, here's Richard. Yeah, he's still here. Uh, I guess if I disappear, you'll know what happened. uh, for the record, if they say I self unsubscribe from life, it's not true. Okay. Yikes. No, we still got too many lunch dates to fulfill. We still have a few years left. No, that's not going to happen. Yes, we had long talks with Kodak. Oh my God, I love talking with you, man. When we go to lunch. Um, by the way, folks, he lives west of me about what is it, 70 miles, something like that. Um, Maybe less. I'm in near Rockville, Bethesda, Wheaton, in a little village called Kensington, um, in Maryland. So we are like 3 miles from the upper part of the DC Maryland border. But he is in Western Maryland. So beautiful country out there. That is hilarious. So yeah, that's what I was like. I was talking to Mike Lee the other day, um, and I brought that up. Uh, what are these companies going to say? Um, oh, 46 miles. Is that all it is? Oh, from Rockville. Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. An hour, super easy drive there. I-70. Um, so yeah, I am. The more I use this, Mike Cheney, the more I use this, the more I worry about the smear campaign coming on. I mean, YouTube is, yeah, they're gonna. Uh, it depends how it's just like when Mike Lee, too many mics here. Mike Lee outdid Canon with the Pro 100. And, it took a year, almost a year of tinkering and, revising ink formulations, and they were better than the Pro 100. I shocked myself. I did, I said, okay, send me your last version of this so-called signature edition ink set. Yeah, I'll try it. I got some flushed cartridges I don't mind using up. Then I thought, wait a minute, the only way I could really make a comparison is to, gosh, I'm going to have to break open one of my own open Pro 100 boxes and take out the OEM cartridges. And let me see a second here. This is one of them right here. See, that is untempered, no plug. This is one of them here, OEM cyan. And I did standard image. I used just standard Pro luster paper, what most people would probably use. Um, and then I removed that set of OEM cartridges. And of course, I did a couple of cleaning cycles prior to that to eliminate any previous ink I may have been using on the Pro 100. Did my OEM test with OEM ICC profiles, and then I removed them, loaded the uh, flushed and refilled cartridges with the signature edition inks, two cleaning cycles, repeated the same set of prints, and I looked and I went, oh crap. Now, are they supposed to look this way? But for some reason, this looks a hell of a lot better. And I was questioning myself, how is this standard image supposed to really look like? I went back to my monitor, and I've always praised myself on having a well calibrated monitor. And sure enough, the PC SE inks look much closer to the monitor. And of course, the monitor is backlit. I told you guys a million times, backlit reflective light. It's not going to be the same, but my PCSE results match my monitor. And the strawberries were kind of orangey, a little bit orange, not quite red. And I thought, oh, I said, Mike, you need to see my video. I made a video. I said, Mike, you need to see my video. And that video is up on the new channel, by the way. You need to see this. So he did. And of course, he knew this. He was just waiting for me to react. So he says, "Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen." Um, and then voila. Yeah, I got to say that right. Voila. The Pro 200 comes out, and in their advertisement, I saw the same exact claim. Pro 100 previous inks. Look at the orange strawberries. And then Pro 200, look at the red strawberries. And of course, also the cyan region, blue, cyan, purplish area was looking a lot better. Then I thought, oh, I remember when Mike Lee saw this photo that I have printed of a ballerina wearing a beautiful, beautiful dress. And it was like chiffon, and it was slightly cyan color. And he remembered the dip because this is one of the test prints I used, OEM SE. And he remembered that SE was better. And he says, but I can improve that. And he sends me this batch of cyan ink. And he says, throw away your old cyan ink. And I went, what the blank are you talking about? Throw away my cyan ink you just gave me a month ago? Yes. So I did. Well, I didn't really throw it away. I still have it. And so I used a flushed cartridge and in refilled it with that new cyan ink. And I said, now you want me to, what do you want? Print that same image. And I did. And boy, the dress now matched my monitor. I was wondering why the very pastel bluish cyanish color was not being reproduced correctly. Now it was. So I said, Mike, when are you going to stop? Please stop already. He says, don't worry, I'm going to incorporate this ink in new orders. So he lost all that early version of the cyan ink. He had to replace it with new formulation. Now he's finally satisfied, and now he's selling this stuff like it's like it's hotcakes. So yeah, that's amazing. And so I'm wondering, people tell me, "Oh, you're just imagining things." I wonder if Canon somehow. Back then, I had almost 80,000 subscribers. I had a pretty wide circulation. I wonder if they caught wind of that and they realized, or maybe they already knew that the Pro 100 lacked in those areas, the cyan and the reds, and whether they already had been planning on making a new inkset, but we're going to put it on a Pro 200 instead. We'll upgrade the printer, make it professional with a real screen, not like the original Pro 100. The same thing happened with Pro 10. It became the Pro 300, which now it has a screen. It's now professional. So you see what I mean? So interesting, man. Interesting. Let me see what else. Okay, so this is how far he lives from me. It's directly west on I-70. I'm going to have to visit him one of these days. I used to live in rural Eldersburg, up close to Westminster. Oh, Westminster. Yeah, I love Westminster. So that was Mike. He was a Marylander. Now he lives in Florida. Thanks to Jose. If it weren't for the lives, I wouldn't have discovered Print Prism and the EcoTank 8550. Thanks where thanks is due. Okay. So remember, Mike, when you were here lurking and you said you had some news that you were gonna disclose, but not yet, and then halfway through the live stream you decided to let it out of the box. That's what started it. I don't know how many live streams ago that was, but oh wow. There you go. See that? And that is a young version of him. He's actually more handsome now. And I don't know. I hope I'm that good when I reach his age. He's a little older than me. Oh, yeah. Keith Cooper might be a little bit difficult to persuade, but we'll see. When he prints his charts, they're like this, like 13 by 19, and of course, probably the maximum number that the uh, software allows, which I don't know what it is. I think if you do the triple letter sizes, 1600 patches only, that's a lot of important, a lot of calculation that has to be done by the software uh, compared to thousands. Of course, you already knew about it, but needs an Apple version. Could generate a lot of exposure for you too. Yeah, we need to let your neighbor um, do that. Hard to believe that Keith Cooper has no access to a Windows machine. Most Mac OS users still have access. Yeah, if unless they're hardcore. Um, I don't get it. I don't get the attitude. But anyway, I'm open to everything. Some people are just not. Just don't want to accept something different. Yeah, that all you would need is a laptop. Oh yeah, well, I've been following Mr. Cooper forever. A little bit older, longer than Mike Cheney and QImage. I remember QImage was a very simple how to put multiple images on a sheet of paper. That kind of, and I loved it for that. I used to love to do that. Yeah, I can start dropping some comments. I don't know how much Keith Cooper. I don't know much about Keith Cooper. He seems to only support mainstream solutions. Yeah, of course. I'm not sure if he's Adobe Mafia. He is. There's no way on God's green earth he's going to consider ever refilling or any kind of third party product. So I watch him. I watch his videos and occasionally comment. But other than that, I know you're not gonna ever because he's got to be careful. He's being promoted by Canon and Epson. They provide him for decades, okay, since the early century, with printers for him to review. So he's got to walk a straight line. He cannot be, cheating, if you will. Okay, so I noticed that Photoshop uploaded without any issues. So let me go ahead and maybe we'll do one quickie here. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose new file. Well, on the other monitor, Joe. There you go. We'll see what happens. Okay, so we're going to make 8 by 12, and it's going to be 600 ppi. Well, we'll just do it 300. That way it won't slow my computer too much. So we got this. We're going to generate image. I never use any of these things here. We're going to use photo. And what was it that I was going to ask it? Let me open up my, I hope I saved that. Maybe I did not. Yeah, I didn't. Of course. Did I even save it? Let me see. Oh, what do you know? I actually did have it copied, and that's it. So we're going to ask it to view. Oh, it missed that one. So view of large snow-covered mountains in the distance from across a valley with dramatic. I'm not the best guy to come up with descriptive terminology here, but we'll see what I can make. All right, that's pretty impressive. Let's see what else. That's interesting. Oh, I like that one. It's got all the cold colors. This is, I want to feel cold, and this one makes me feel cold. So right now, all you have to do is just, you can do adjustments if you want them, but I just click here and save as, give it a name. If I want to do multiples, like the 3, give it a name. I just give it a name and then 1, and then go to the next one, give it a name. I'll use the same name and just add 2 and add 3 to the third one. And if I want to generate some more, I just go ahead and generate. And it will just continue generating until you get to a set that you like. It'll save it as a PDF, a PSD, Um, oh, this is not bad. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, I don't like that one. Nah, that looks like an airport. Nah, I like that one. So you would just go ahead and save as. I'm not going to do it. But you see how easy it is. And here's the moral to this story. Let me go ahead and just come back to me. I'm going to close Photoshop. I'm going to go upstairs pretty soon. Oh my God, 3 hours already here. Um, the moral of the story. So I don't print because I don't have anything to print. I'm just going to do a nozzle check. Or if I have Q image, I'm just going to do the, unclog tool. I'm going to frame that. No, you're not, dude. It's useless. Yeah, it keeps your printer happy. Thank you, Mike, for creating that. I go away on a 2-week trip. I set it, schedule it, come back. I may have 6 copies of that on my tray, and my printer will be happy. I go away for 2 months. I can leave the printer on, my computer on. I leave Q image minimized, and I tell it, hey, every 2 days, I want you to print this pattern, and it's customized. And I go away, come back 2 months, assuming I didn't have a power outage. My printer will have so many copies of that, and it will be happy. I don't have to worry about if my Pro 1000 is going to clog in the next 2 months if I turn it off and go away for 2 months. It might not. Who knows? But to be sure. But the thing is, I'm not going to frame any of this. I'm not going to, hey, George, look at this. Look at this chart. Look at these lines magenta, yellow, cyan, green, red, blue. No, nobody. They're useless for display. It's a tool to keep your printer alive. So you should be printing beautiful stuff. Even if you're disabled, and with my back, I'm practically there. I'm not going to go hiking through mountains, taking scenery shots like that. If I can generate them or if I can find them from someone else and they allow me to print them, I'd rather do that. I can't go out hiking anymore. I can't handle it. Okay. So, what am I going to do? Ignore my Pro 1000 and never print on it and have it clog and do cleaning cycles every 2 weeks that are going to use up my expensive ink? Yeah, that's what's going to happen if I don't just print. If I print an 8 by 10 every day or two, the printer will be happy. The amount of ink that I used, every deficit of ink from every one of those 12 cartridges, well, Chrome Optimizer is not ink, but you get what I mean. It's being used to create prints. It's not being used to fill my MC20 cartridge, which I just put upstairs. And my wife says, what is this heavy thing? What do you have in here? I said, it's waste ink. You see what I mean? So why should I not want to create beautiful scenery? Photographic scenery. It looks real. Okay. Sure, it can be analyzed by an expert and determine that this is AI generated. Of course, even I can tell. But it is beautiful. Is this not beautiful? Okay. If I quickly glance at this, you ask, I ask you, oh, what do you think of this? And you say, wow, that's really something. And that glacier's falling. Wow, where did you shoot this? Oh, Alaska. And that's it. You'll believe it. You will believe it. Same thing here. This is another one without the kayaks. Here's Richard Bender's version without the kayaks. Silly. So, yeah, I mean, where's my other stuff? Right here. Let me show Mike. Mike, look at this. My light's not working, so I cannot shine on it and give you the best view. This is a sublimation print mounted as non-informed people today that are buying my miniatures would like it to be on a modern black frame. Okay. Normally, of course, you don't ever put a frame on an aluminum print. You just mount it as is. But anyway, this is what I'm making. Okay. And so, do I have to go out and explore the whole world? No, I don't. This is one of Richard Bender's images, and I have yet finished it, but it will be just like the other one. This was generated. There's no way you're gonna, look at this one. I generated this one, and people are gonna love this. Look at that. This is AI, and it looks normal. It looks like a painting from, 1800s. You know, that way I'm not breaking any kind of copyright rules. I'm not using somebody else's uh, what do they call that property? You know what I mean. Um, so yeah, and once you generate them, um, no one else has them. Even if they use the same descriptive term word for word, AI is going to generate something different. Okay, slightly different. It's not going to be mine. So I saved all of those images. I'm going to go back later tonight and create some more. And then we'll be making some more 3 foot by 2 foot, 2 feet by 3 feet prints. Normally they would be this big, but in miniatures, 2 inches by 3 inches. And those are going to be, I hope, some hot sellers this October. Oh, oh, Mike Cheney, you should go to Printer Knowledge Forum, printerknowledge.com. I'm still a member, but I haven't been on it for ages. I think he expected to be underwhelmed. He was blown away. This is not this dude right here, Nelson Lau. He is not someone to be taken lightly. Okay, he's a member of my Facebook group. Um, he is a producer of profiles using, of course, what is that other stuff called? I can't even remember. Um, and if he's impressed, you should be again do this. Okay, if this dude is impressed, do this. That's awesome. I'm glad. Um, yeah, Nelson used an example on really rough, tough paper that printer super media tutorials. Um, super sepia neutrals. He showed how print person fixed his neutrals and made great color at the same time. I think that's tough example surprised him. Wow. Yeah, I have a lot of them upstairs. I have it all in their own little envelopes ready to go. I just need to. I came up with a description of what sublimation is so that people that buy these prints from me know what they're getting and how they are created. And I made it sound a little bit scientific so they'll be more impressed. Um, so I need to print a lot more of those little cards, and I will stick one in each envelope with each print. Um, and I'm blessed that I have that trimmer that can trim everything just super accurate. Yeah, this one here, Mike, I didn't show you this, but make believe this is a wall miniature with miniature wallpaper. I have a special mount here. It's just a L shape, but upside down. And this is the opposite. This will go behind, mounted on the back of the print itself, with two little blocks at bottom right and bottom left. That will keep it off the wall, the same thickness as this. And then this mounts like such. So a half inch long, 6 inches long, in real life, mounted to the back of the print. And again, you just put it on top of that, and you can then adjust it this way or that way. And that's the way you would hang it in real life. You would have a support bracket that is L shape, and then the male side, they make together, and you hang your print that way. And if you want to remove it, you just remove it. Okay. And you can slide it, adjust it, align it, whatever you want to do, simply by sliding it. Okay. So I have a lot of this material already machined, and I'm going to be cutting 1/2 inch sections and then including them. Or I could just already pre-mount it on the back of the print. I don't want to leave things for the buyer to have to do. So I think I will go ahead and include that. So I will have a matching bit of this, a little bit of this included already. So this they can glue wherever they want. It has to be done straight, so that's up to them. So then this I will attach to the back of each metal print with the little square plug on either corner. It'll look fantastic. Um, as you see, the beginning is like this, and then I will add the wooden supports in the back, and then that's it. They just hang. So, and this I would be selling something like this. This would be like $30. This is what people would pay. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's what people would be willing to pay. And yeah, it's time consuming. But you know what? I've been told, well, you're doing this wrong. You should, rate your hourly wage, say $75 an hour. Um, well, no, it takes me an hour to do one of these. Okay, I already pre-printed everything, so that's not counting the pre-print time and design and creative, uh, time that I use in Photoshop to create the images. I'm just talking about the finished print, attach the backing, attach the hardware, frame it, and then the identification tag and so forth. Takes me about an hour. So I'm just gauging not $75 an hour, but like 35. That would be a good wage for some retired dude like me. So um, that's what I'm going to charge. So according to how difficult something was to create, I will charge it that way. I'm going to make a little board with little red, blue, green, yellow, purple stickers, each representing a different price. And then each little bag will have a corresponding matching little tag on it. That way they know exactly. They pick this, and that, and they look at the chart. $8, $15, 25, 35. Okay. I used to do shows all the time when I was selling furniture left and right. I had a big article, actually a feature on the Washington Post back in the late 70s when I was doing this heavily back then. Okay, by the way, just a note is Mike Cheney, my 8550 developed a missing nozzle or two, usually in the gray, if you don't print or unclog sheet every 3 days. Um, I've had that happen a couple of times, not necessarily gray, but others, and just one cleaning cycle did the trick. So, but how is your work area? Is it very dry? It could be that. Yeah, I should do this more often actually, but I don't. But so far, so good. It has not been an issue. Oh, wow. And that is fine? Yeah, good. It could be that. I don't know how it would react to ambient temperatures and as well as humidity levels. Well, let's see what did I print anything on this today? Probably not. Let's do an also check. I think the last time I used it was last week. So we'll see. So what I plan to do with the Pro 200 from Rick Johnson, currently it has a row of disabled chip cartridges. I'm waiting from ink from Precision Colors. I'm going to go ahead and fill those cartridges up. We're going to then make a comparison between that and the Pro 100. Finally, I'm going to get it going again. Okay, I got a print head right next to it. A new one. Hopefully, the printer is okay, and it just needed a new print head. And voila, look, I have a few little nozzles. I have a magenta, 2 nozzles, 1, 2, 3, 5 nozzles, and 1 gray. So let's go ahead and we're going to use QImage. If I run a nozzle, if I run a cleaning cycle, it will fix it. Well, let's go ahead and use QImage just for fun. Boy, I am almost 3.5 hours already into this. Well, you guys are having too much fun, and so am I. So I am just going to go ahead and set up the 8550. And let's see. I'm going to go to, oh, sorry about that. File and on clock tool. And I'm just going to go ahead and just quickly do that. I had done a previous. So here is the 4200. No, we're going to go to the 8550. And I'm just going to just use glossy. I have one for matte and one for glossy. So, and we're just going to queue it up. We just queue it up and I'll do a full page. So it should load that and I'll go ahead and print it. And, I could, turn off color matching or color controls here. I could do that, which it did. And that tends to, as was explained to me by Mike, it tends to work a little bit better, I assume. I'm going to make sure that it is, for the next job that I do, that it is not set to off. But that's it. It's going to print now. Then I'll just do another nozzle check and see. So it's been a whole week. It's been kind of dry because the heat has been on. So maybe the humidity level is very low. And again, it's just my fault for ignoring the printer for one whole week. Yeah. If this works, fine. If it doesn't, I'll do a clean cycle and it should be good to go. I just recently topped off all of the tanks. I should have reset the gray. Right now, the gray is showing up as almost empty, but it's really not. It's almost like chipless firmware. Okay, that's going to take a while to print because it's a glossy mode and it's using probably the highest quality. So what else is happening, guys and gals? I don't know whether Judy is here with us. What have you guys been working on? Any successes? Any problems, issues? We have Mike Cheney here with us. Any questions about QImage? Any questions about bring Prism, any questions about anything, Mike is the guy to ask, and maybe me even. So I never had clogs until I put new ink in. So I wonder if maybe it was the new ink mixing with 2 to 3 year old ink. Okay, yeah, possibly, possibly. I think I'm down to my last set. Um, so you guys know, Mike, um, Rick Johnson purchased this um, 8550 for me, and he provided me with, I think, like 2 sets of ink. And so this was so I can then push his products, which is the ability for you to refill and reset the chips on your wasting tank. Like I just took that Pro 1000 wasting tank upstairs. It's like 2 pounds, ridiculous. It's like over 600 grams. Um, so maybe a pound and a half. Anyway, so um, this gets full. Gets declared full before it's even a fifth full physically. I checked that. I did a test. I literally the the cartridges you remove and you can see the pads inside. I injected with a syringe amounts of ink. So what I did was I waited when it was dry, when it was new. That's done. Okay. So and the funny thing is you look at it and you see nothing, no issues. There's no banding, there's nothing at all. Let's go ahead and print the nozzle check next. Even though it was actually missing a few nozzles. Okay, what was I talking about? I totally forgot. That's what happens when you get old. Okay, I still have the same. All right, we'll do a cleaning. So I'm going to tell it that it's not perfect and start the cleaning cycle. Oh, the wasting cartridges. So I took the new weight and then the declared full weight, and it had increased 10 grams. But you have to realize that as ink is dumped into the wasting cartridge day by day, this is exposed to air. The water part of the ink begins to evaporate. So even though it had only gained 6 grams of weight, 10 grams of weight, um, it may have been a lot more than that ink actually deposited into the cartridge. So regardless, I just said, okay, it's 10 grams different. I loaded 10 ml of water, plain tip syringe, stuck it in the port, and carefully injected water in. And I was waiting for the top of the pads that I can see to begin to get inky. Nothing happened. In fact, I could touch it with my hands and my finger. No wetness whatsoever. So I injected another 10 ml and another 10 ml. I injected 60 ml of ink total before the top began to get inky. Now, I don't recommend that you reset the chip, and you can do that with a resetter that Rick Johnson sells. I don't recommend that you do that. Yeah, if you buy it from China, it'll be $5 less, but yeah, buy it from Rick, please. Support the guy. He's really awesome. So should you be doing that? Should you reset it and have it, you know, run it 3, 4 times? No, I don't suggest you do that, because the more liquid that pad of fibers has, the more difficult. I don't know what the force is that waste ink is injected into that cartridge. See, it might be very passive, and it might reach a point where the cartridge pressure does not allow any more ink to come in, and then you'll have issues. So I would say reset it twice, maybe maximum 3 times, and then remove the insides, put them in the trash. And he sells the pads. You put them inside, reset the chip, pop it back in, good to go. That's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing. Yeah, it costs what? I don't know, $15 for the replacement. He also sells third-party replacements, by the way, or chips. If you don't want to buy a resetter, you can replace the chips and just reuse it, repack it. You can repack it with anything, cotton balls, if you want to. Nothing is going to spill outside. You can look at it and say, "Oh yeah, it's getting dirty. I better replace the insides." And why not? Why not? And we're good to go. That's it. Perfect. See what I mean? It's not a big troublemaker like other printers are. Now, Mike, I'm considering, and this is, I don't need a powerful, it's perfect. Yes, it was perfect, and go back home. Okay. For sublimation, especially if I want to do larger prints, I cannot use my little 4200. That's only letter size. So if I want to do 12 by uh, anything, maybe 12 by 12 or 11 by 14, I need to use my 1400, which is clogged beyond help. That thing is age. It's ridiculous. It's maybe 15 years. I don't know when it came out, maybe 20 years old. So 8550 for sublimation. Now, Kodak currently has tank printers that are just like these, exactly like that, but just large capacity. They are 4-color printers with roll adapter built in. Incredible. Yeah, they're expensive. So rather than go that route, buy an 8550 on sale, and from the very beginning, sublimate inks in it, put sublimation inks in it. And Hippoo, which is a weird name, Hippoo. Um, a lot of people are using Hippoo inks, and this is what I'm currently using on my 4200, and you've seen the results. So I'm thinking about that, and then just get rid of the 1400. I don't need it anymore. Yeah, and then just make sure I print often. Sublimation inks are a little bit, they're a little bit mean as far as, you know, clogs. If you use them on a printer like the 4200 and you're using refillable cartridges, every time you change the cartridges, oh my God, it's just a mess trying to get the, I think the cartridges just don't seal very well. And so you get air in the print head, and it's very difficult to get rid of that. Cleaning cycle after cleaning cycle. And I don't want to deal with that any longer. So just as another 8550 simply for sublimation, and that should fulfill that. And of course, print prism, create a profile for it. Simple as that. You just will not be using it for anything else. It'll just be for sublimation. So one setting constantly. So okay, so you saw the results. One cleaning cycle. It took like 3 minutes. I didn't think it made that much of a difference. What really saved my 4200 after I exchanged the cartridges the other day, a couple of weeks ago actually, was really QMH and that type of print. I did three of them, one after the other, three consecutive um, unclog tool prints, and then I went to bed. And the next day I did a cleaning cycle, and it was fine because before I couldn't get it cleared off, and it wasn't really a clog. I think it's just air, and it's due to the really crappy refillable cartridges. That's why I want to have a printer like a tank printer just dedicated to that. Of course, I can use an 8500, but I need larger capacity than just 8.5 by 11 or 8 by 10 sublimation prints. I bought my friend Fred an 8550 when I got one. Just, oh, Fred, yes. Ah, that's right. That's right. I remember that. For what you guys may be wondering what he's talking about. Initially, when I started watching videos about QMH, it wasn't Mike Cheney. It was an elderly man, wonderful guy. You love this guy. You love this voice, and he's the guy that instructed me how to learn QMH. Yeah. Make sure my 8550 goes to Dennis, um, another one of his friends. Oh, that's good. So it went to a good in good hands. In other words, that's good. Okay. Oh yes, a question for Mike. Indeed, my photo work is on a W7 machine that strictly stays off the internet. What is a W7? That means I cannot complete the registration and keep the startup delay. Not a super. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. So, okay. Wonderful. That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. You've done so much already. You don't have to thanks. We thank you. Hang on 1 second. I gotta go find something. Rick, and I know there's more. You could use those, can't you? Let me know. You know what I saved from your last package? If I can now find it. Of course, you know me. Good Lord. Ah, here it is. Your address. So I am going to, if you want them, I'll send you that. Fred was so laid back. One of the last things he said to me from his hospice bed was, I made it to 90. I have a good run. Oh, That sure is touching, Mike. Yes, it is. Sure, I will see you get a piece of the action. Oh, nah. I got other things I want to send to you. Some Pro 1000 cartridges that you can pre-drill for people, and they can buy them from you, and then the chips will be disabled just like you're doing with the current batch. You won't be able to test them, and I'm not going to test them because I don't want to enter any error in any of my inclines on my Pro 1000, but they should be able to be reset. Not reset, but disabled. The thing about disabling is that you disable a set just like the one on the Pro 200 in my other room. That set is completely disabled, but if I give it to someone else, it's not going to be disabled. So you cannot send somebody disabled chips already. They have to be disabled in their own printer. Okay. So when you disable those, they were disabled on that very same Pro 200. Had they been then transferred to another Pro 200, they will no longer be disabled and you would have to go through the process all over again. So that's the only catch. So if I hear somebody trying to sell disabled cartridges, there I know it's baloney. All right, I think we have gone way overboard here today, and I do appreciate you guys hanging. We got the last 20 diehard people here with us, and again, I appreciate you guys hanging, especially you guys in the East Coast with me right now, with the chill and the snow and the ice, and uh, again, well, maybe we have nothing better to do, so here we are. So let me go ahead and load. My bye-bye photo. I'll put it over there. And I will, let me make sure I got my speaker volumes turned down and set up a slideshow. And I think that's going to be it. We can call it a day. I hope you guys have the rest of the week. Well, no, the rest of this weekend um, nice and peaceful. Um, what am I doing tomorrow? Tomorrow, I think everything's going to still be closed around here. There shouldn't be any school. Nathan should be off tomorrow, enjoying a snow day. I'll stay home. I was supposed to go pick up a medication at Walter Reed, but again, I don't think the pickup trailer is going to be open. So I'll probably do that Tuesday. We don't have anything else going on, I don't think. So have a wonderful weekend. Thanks, everybody. Let me make sure that I have this back on. Again, if you guys want to join Patreon, do so through that app that I gave you. Um, you pay a small monthly fee. You will have access to stuff that I know that I will first load there before I make it publicly available to YouTube, and it'll be interesting stuff. It's not going to be just the common stuff. Okay, so if that is enough of an incentive for you, go ahead and join. That will help the channel tremendously, just to have a bit of income every month from that source, and that way I can buy some of that canvas, that shiny canvas. Wouldn't you like to see that? And after I create a profile for it, oh my gosh. So again, uh, consider doing that. Amazon affiliate link, use it. Red River affiliate link, use it. QMH Ultimate affiliate link, use it. QMH One, if you're a Mac user, please use it. And Rudy Hallamum and Rick Johnson, they're all there. Okay. And if you have no clue what my channel's URL is, it's right there as well. And if you're a Facebooker and you want to join our group, it's there as well. Okay. So everything is there. So link it, just one link. I don't have to type all that stuff in my descriptions. They cut off the URLs. They do not allow me to post complete URLs. So Mike Cheney came up with this tactic. Okay. And it's so far it's been working. So thank you so much. Do not forget to subscribe, share, and like. And until the next time, bye bye, everyone. Let's go over and switch over to the slideshow. If I can do it, there we go. And bingo.